Hello, my name is Sergio, otherwise known as Sergiovelli. If you've never seen my face before, it's because this is my first YouTube video, and if it pops up in your algorithm, I just want to thank God that it popped up in your algorithm because you probably needed it. And I just want to say this is a great introduction to a channel, to an artist, to a person that is going to try and change the trajectory of history. All right, I know this is crazy. And I know that you're probably going to watch this and be like, what the hell? Because this is the same thing that I would say a lot of other people in the world that have figured out the understanding of the manipulation of reality. And what I'm saying by that is that if you're tuning yourself into my channel, which this is going to be something that I'm going to be doing for forever now, made it an agreement to myself. And I just want to say thank you. I'm going to start this video off like that. And my name is Sergio. And there's a lot that you guys are going to see. Start this story out in 2016 because the title of this video is going to go in the regardance of my life, but also in probably the regardance of your life. And what I want to say is that we all in this world feel that one question, right? What are we doing here? And what is the reason for all this? Well, for me, that question started really early in my life. And if you know anything about trauma, you know that trauma, this is where like my channel is going to go towards. I want to talk about certain conspiracy theories, MK Ultra. I guess you can even say like the whole thing with the Epstein thing going on, and just about how the last 20 to 25, even longer, the last 80 to 100 years have been just a full experiment on generations to see how people would think, how people would react in certain parts of history, war, famine, and how people would react to technology that they bring in and say that it's new, right? So we all get to that question in life, like, what are we doing here? And science obviously tells you when you're in high school, or even when you're kind of even a little bit younger, that you were just like put here on a big explosion, you know? And obviously when you're younger, if you have I grew up in a Mexican household, so obviously Catholic. When you grow up in that type of household, you grow up learning about Christ really early, you know, religion, you say that you pray to this God. But when I was younger, I had a rebellion against damn near everything because of my environment and where I grew up at outside of Detroit, which is a whole nother story. But to get into the topic, I was around like 16 years old and I had a spiritual experience with, you know, psychedelics or whatever. Obviously, as you could tell by my room, which changed the trajectory of my life entirely. And it wasn't just like the experience, it was just like everybody that kind of knows with them, the, you know, psychedelic world, is that when you feel like you've been chosen, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee what you saw, you know? And I always bring it back to God. Like I write about God all the time. I write notes about my journey, where I'm at in life. And I wouldn't have gotten to this point in life without paying attention to the signs that people call the universe, people call God, people call, in the occult, they call it the all. If you know, you know, as above, so below. But in general, when you are asking the universe for the answers, for the truth, no, undoubtedly, for the ears of understanding, wisdom comes. And what I want to tell everybody through this channel is that if you are here, you are chosen, and that you have something about you that is resonating with the factor that life is not what it's given you, you know? You've been given something that you thought was real, or that you thought was, you know, the trajectory of where your life would go. But in reality, you have been set up to just be like, you know, as they call it, the rat race or a guinea pig. Now, when I started realizing after my first experience with, you know, psychedelics, which at the time I had a traumatic situation in my life happen, which made me even question things more. I had great grandparents that I grew up with that were dying on me, and they were like my parents, you know, they were all I had. And questioning death also made me very spiritual and want to look into why my great granddad was, where he was going to go, where I was going to go. And, you know, when you're picked, you go through the most. Like, now when I say when you're picked, when you're picked with the knowledge of figuring out life, you will mentally go through what I call spiritual lessons and doorways. You know, the doorways to the mastery. If you know about the occult, which I'm going to talk about a lot in this, my YouTube, is that they believe in the mastery keys that open them the doors to the temple. And I can go further into my shroom trips and psychedelic trips in other videos, but this main introduction video is really going to be about how we all have something in us that is telling us that the life that we're living is not what it seems to be. And the life that you're probably living right now, working a 9 to 5, fending for kids and all that, even though you're probably doing all that, there's something in you that's telling you that you got to do this, that you got to do what you know is your love. And my whole life, bro, if you play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or if you remember the YouTube videos they sprang from 2009, everybody had a Dazzle PVR or a HD PVR. And that was like the only way you could record videos. And I remember when I was younger, like 10 years old, I made my great granddad go and buy me a Dazzle, which was the $60. It was the cheap one, recorded on 240p. And I always think about like Sneeko, which a lot of people disagree with him. I personally think that, you know, I want to meet a lot of these people and talk about a lot of these things that they believe in, because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge that can go entice with their beliefs. You know, that's the whole point of this channel, is I want to get everybody's comments on what they think, what their spiritual awakening was. And for me, it was very deep on the regards of trying to learn about death. You know, I'm sorry, you know, it's crazy because I watched a thing today about how this is like very off topic, but Woody Allen was cool with Epstein, and he was like really intrigued about death, but in a whole other manner. But for me, it was really on the regards like of where we went in life, where we go. So just learning and learning and learning, reading the Bible, reading different, like I have books. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Right here. And Zerka, a lot of people recommend this book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And this book, obviously, if you know Manly P. Hall, if you're watching this video, you probably got recommended because of esoteric knowledge videos that you watch. Everybody should know this book. If you're into spiritual knowledge, everybody should also know the Kabbalion. And not just the Kabbalion, but the Bible at foremost. Once you read a lot of these different spiritual manuscripts, even the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which I don't really think was as the age that it says it is, that's a whole nother topic. But your spiritual journey will take you into things that you have never thought that you would even look into. And once you resonate with certain people and you figure out that you're not alone, you start realizing, like, look, everybody has it in them to become something. And for me, what I want to do for this YouTube channel is to create everybody to realize that they are who they know they are inside. And everything that's going on right now in the world is what's pushed me to make this YouTube channel and what's pushed me to want to be out here showing the world that you are everything that you want to be. There is a master plan that is put up against us. Obviously, you know it if you're here, if you're watching. And as I go forward with my introduction, which will be probably in many parts of my videos, I just want you guys to know that this is all for you. This is all for you. And there is nobody else that I'm doing this for other than you. So, thank you for watching this first video. I know I went everywhere in topic, but I hope I started it off right.